you'll hear these fatigue statements for a client. Like on the association side, they're like, hey, we used to give these workshops, they're evening workshops. I don't know why we're not getting as many people attending now. Or you'll get the, on the corporate side, you'll say, well, we spent a big pile of money on a corporate training program, and it included e-learning and all those things, but we only did it once, and then it's sitting there on the shelf, right? Yep. And so these reasons to get into it and get into it kind of in the right way are so beneficial in so many different ways. I can't remember the stats, but let's just say on average, in your sort of Fortune 1000s in the United States, for example, they're spending about $100 a month on employees. I could pull up the stat, but this is the idea of, per employee. And I think many organizations aren't doing even that level. Do you know what I mean? They're just sort of, a lot of it is reactionary. It's as needed. But certainly, one of the primary benefits of training in either of these environments is you're either helping your members to get a benefit in the situation, or you're helping, again, your employees to go further, faster. And funny enough, for the corporations, if you can get the rhythm of e-learning for your employees, it's a simple jump to go to that next level of marketing by taking that same process and putting it into something that you're going to do for your customers. This is way beyond a 30-second commercial or an explainer. This is taking them to that next level. And we've seen all kinds of examples. So I would say, your employee enhancement and retention, which is pretty obvious, but we've been doing it in that sort of way that we were used to. You have that big corporate meeting, throw a bit of COVID in there.
Yeah.
Can't get together. I can tell you, I do live training, right? And I'm now that's sort of put off for how long? Like when's that going to come back? I've got people are like 2021, maybe, big asterisk, question mark. Yeah. So not only were people maybe not as far ahead in this game as they could have been on the corporate side and doing that kind of thing, now they're in a jam because they've got to ramp up really fast. So I think when I get on with sort of solid providers like yourself, and I'm like, oh, there's a good referral for someone that you can responsibly get involved with to do that kind of thing. So certainly we know that it's important for, again, the employees, and on the membership side, I think blended learning is probably the phrase that goes into these things. They've got the expertise, these organizations. They know what they're doing. They've been doing the teaching for a long time. But now there's this sort of, there's a couple things going on where they have to internally transition that expertise out into the world in that sort of optimized way. So that's the other opportunity, is to actually start to enhance. And you'll see this, I've seen this before. They've got a current boomer leadership in many of these private organizations, for example, and they're used to doing things a certain way, and they like the newsletter and they like advertising in the newspaper and whatever they liked to do before. Now what they need to learn to do is allocate budget to this newer process. And you'll see 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds that are punching from mid-levels in the organization. They're coming up with these great ideas. But again, this integrated approach, which is really necessary. So another benefit to doing the e-learning process is to helping those people actually to get super engaged and actually get them rolling out. And the nice thing when we talk about manage up, manage down, the opportunity for the senior leaders is to allow themselves to be managed in this area. Don't say, I'm not going to get on social media and I'm not going to deal with this e-learning thing and I'm done. Say, how can I do this? And where within the organization do we have the capacity that we need to get started? And then again, getting back to providers, who do we bring into the situation to bring it forward?